All right. I think we're back at it again for the second installment of Unit 2. This is Unit 2, Day 2. We're going to, there we go, get it going. Today, we're going to add a little bit to what we learned yesterday. Yesterday, we did all the vocabulary terms and combining like terms. Today, we're going to do a little bit of multiplying. And then tomorrow, we're going to add the 2 days together where we multiply and combine like terms. So today's topic is the distributive property. And this is where we're going to multiply a term outside the parentheses by each term inside the parentheses. So a little bit of multiplication from last year that hopefully you guys remember. So if we look at these double stars, it says make sure that when you're distributing that you multiply the outside number to everything inside. So if we take a look at this first example, this 3 is its own term, and it should be multiplied by the 2x and by that positive 5. So there's 2 terms inside that parenthesis that both need to be multiplied by the 3. So if we do 3 times 2x and we multiply those, that'd be 6x. And if we do 3 times 5, that'd be 15. So we need to put both those together, and that would be 6x and a positive 15. So that's how we would write it in the end. Just like yesterday, we talked about the variable goes first, and the constant always goes last when we write these down. Number 2, if we multiply this negative 2 into both terms, the negative 2 would be multiplied by a 1x, and we'd get negative 2 times 1 is negative 2x. And the negative 2 would be multiplied by 7, and we get negative 14. So in the end, we get negative 2x and a minus 14. The constant is always last. The variable's first. That's what we learned yesterday. If we multiply this negative 3 by both terms, this negative 3 gets multiplied by 5x, and the negative 3 gets multiplied by negative 6. So if we take a look at those answers that we'd get negative 3 times 5 is negative 15. Oops. That's kind of sloppy. Negative 15. And then we have an x. And then negative 3 times negative 6 is positive 18. So if we write that together, we always write our variable first. That's what we learned yesterday. And then our constant last. So that'd be negative 15x plus 18 in the end. That'd be our answer. Number 4 is multiplying in the opposite direction. The negative 7 is in the back, so you're going to multiply it to the front of each of the terms in the parentheses. So if we do negative 7 multiplied by 1x and negative 7 multiplied by 4, we get negative 7x and negative 28. So in the end, if we put those together, that'd be negative 7x minus 28. The constant goes last. The variable goes first. For 5, this is a tricky one because it's just a negative sign, so you can always assume there's a 1, just like in front of a variable. If there's nothing written, oh man, that's got a little out of control there. There's always a 1 in front of the variable. So now if we were to multiply that negative 1 in, that'd be negative 1 times 1x and negative 1 times 5. So in the end, that is negative 1x, and that is negative 5, I believe. So my final answer would be negative 1x minus 5, or you could write it as negative x minus 5. You don't have to write the 1 if you don't want to. Either one would be acceptable for your answer. The next one, this negative 2, there is a 1 in front of the xy, right? So we learned yesterday. So now that's negative 2 times 1xy. Well, that means we're just multiplying the coefficients out front. So we'd get negative 2xy in the end. There's not 2 terms in there to multiply because there's no plus or minus sign. So that'd be our answer there. It's just negative 2xy. If we go to the next page, 7. Yep. So 7 also is one where you got to multiply it backwards because it's on the right side. So now we would get negative 5 times 2x and negative x, negative 5 times 1. So let's see, we'd get from both of those. If we multiply the negative 5 and the 2 in our calculator, we get negative 10. We include the x, and then negative 5 times 1 is negative 5. In the end, that's negative 10x minus 5. And that has the variable first and the constant last, just like we talked about yesterday. And then this 8, we already had one like this. There's a negative 1 in front. So we're going to multiply by all 3 terms now, because there's a parenthesis with 3 terms. So that'd be negative 1 times 2x, negative 1 times 3y, and negative 1 times negative 7. So what we get from each one of these, I think we'd get a negative 2x from the first one, a negative 3y from the second one, and a positive 7 from the last one. So if we write that alphabetically, that'd be negative 2x minus 3y plus 7. And that'd be my answer, alphabetically with our constant last, always. All right, 9 and 10. This 3 can multiply by the 4. There's no plus or minus sign, so that means that we're just multiplying this 3 times 4ab. So that'd be an easy one. That'd be just 12ab, like the number on the, I think it was number 6 on the first page. And then number 10, we'd multiply this negative 3 by both terms. Negative 3 times negative x. So now if we multiply by both terms, we get a negative 12 for the first 2 multipliers, and we get positive 3x for the next 2. And then we got to write this so that it's alphabetical with the constant last. So that would be 3x first, and then the minus 12 would go last always, because that's our constant. So that'd be my answer there. So why don't you guys try the next 4 on your own and see if you can do them. So pause the video right now, and then you try 11 through 14, and then after you do it, unpause it and see if you get the same thing that I got. All right, welcome back. Now let's see if we got the same answer. So we'd multiply that negative 2 times the 4x, then negative 2 times negative 2. So we get negative 8x for the first one, and that's a negative times a negative is a positive in my calculator. So in the end, that's negative 8x with a positive 4. And that's my final answer with my constant always written last and my variable written first. The next one, if you multiply it correctly, that's 2 times negative 4. And that's 2 times 2x. So let's see what we get. I think that's negative 8 and 4x. So we always write my variable first. My constant always goes last. So 4x minus 8 would have been the answer if you'd have done that correctly in the right order. This 2 needs to multiply by the negative x, and the 2 needs to multiply by the negative 4. Remember, there's always a 1 in front of that x if nothing's written there. So let's see what we get from both of these. 2 times negative 1 is negative 2. Always include the x. 2 times negative 4 is negative 8. So if we put those together, we get negative 2x and then a minus 8. And that would be my answer. Variable goes variable goes first. The constant goes second always. This one here does not have a plus or minus sign in either parenthesis that breaks up 2 terms. So all I have to do is multiply those by each other. So that'd be negative 5 times 2xy. So in the end, that becomes negative 10xy. So that'd be my answer there. So now we just have a few left in the end. Hopefully you got all those right. If not, take a look, pause it, listen to it again. 15, multiply it by all 3 terms. So 2 times negative 5 in my calculator is negative 10x. 2 times negative 6 is negative 12y. 2 times 5 is 10. So if I put all those together alphabetically with your constant going last, that's negative 10x minus 12y plus 10. That'd be the answer for 15. 16, I know there's a negative 1 out front, and there's no plus or minus sign in the parentheses, so I just need to multiply it, the coefficients by each other. So that's negative 1 times 2 is negative 2. The xy stays the same, and that's your answer. And then 17, same idea. There's no plus or minus sign separating any different terms in that parenthesis, so that's really just multiplying negative 2 times negative 5 with a BC attached. If you multiply those two numbers, you get a 10 with the BC. And then 18, last one, we have a negative 1 out front, and we have 1s in front of the x and the y. So that means I'm going to multiply negative 1 times negative 1x, negative 1 times negative 1y, and then negative 1 times negative 7. So let's see what we get from all three of these when we multiply them. So the first one we get is 1x. The second one we get is 1y. The third one we get is a positive 7. So if I add all those together, that's what we'd get, 1x plus y plus 7.